So, Mike Shoesmith is the executive editor of PNN News and Ministry Network on the internet. You can go find him at www.ppsimmons.com. That's the place to start. He's connected to all kinds of Facebook places, a couple of viral YouTube sites, some other websites. This show, he's been a co-host with me on this show for years. He's also a licensed private investigator in Canada. He hails from Canada. And I'm giving that introduction, Mike, because we're gaining new listeners like crazy. And I just want people I just want people to know who you are. All right. So anyway, we've got some time together, and there's something at the PNN site. I'm not going to steal your thunder. I'm going to let you just bring the whole thing forward, but it's at the PNN News and Ministry Network blog, syndicated blog. And it's the title looks like clickbait, but when you read it, it's not clickbait. This is some real stuff. So I'll let you unpack it.
No, it's amazing. So I was listening to the BBC the other day, Carl, the British Broadcasting Corporation, the mouth of the world's radio station, and they were discussing a recent brouhaha. Now, brouhaha is an actual word in the English language. I'm not sure you're aware of that or not, but they were discussing a recent brouhaha over the horror movie genre. Apparently, somebody somewhere commented that perhaps horror movies were on their way out. Mm-hmm. And then some movie producer somewhere tweeted something about getting support from the public for the horror movie industry. So the BBC picked up on this, and they found a couple of drug addicts who were huge horror movie fans, and they interviewed them on one of their shows. And I just happened to be able to listen in, Carl, and I had it playing in the background. And I really began paying attention when I heard that one of the drug addicts they were interviewing was a minister in England. And the other was a woman. Now, why do I keep calling them drug addicts? Well, let me explain that in a little bit, but check this out. When the minister was asked why he was such a fan of horror movies, he said he supposed it goes to the result of evolution, the fight or flight response generated in the brain, and the resulting rush he gets from that, right? Mm-hmm. And I couldn't help wishing, Carl, that I could reach out to this minister and explain to him that fish to man deep time evolution is a stinking corpse, and that atheists and atheist ditto heads have strapped to the backs of David Attenborough and his ilk and recruited them to prance around the city square like a weekend at Bernie's, proclaiming it's not dead, it's merely resting.
Yeah.
You remember that movie?
Yes, I do.
But anyway, the reason I refer to them as drug addicts is the same reason I refer to people who watch porn and go to strip clubs as drug addicts. When a man sees a naked or partially clad woman, an involuntary chemical release happens in the pleasure center of the brain. We've covered this before. In fact, we were uninvited guests on Howard Stern regarding this issue. What's the drug? Well, there's 5 different drugs that are released, but most notably dopamine. So if we refer to the porn watchers and strip club attendees as dopes, we wouldn't be far off on that one, right?
No, I think not. Yeah.
Check out this horror movie research, which has been done by the science experts who study this stuff. This is from inverse.com, okay? Mm-hmm. Horror movies are so terrifyingly effective because on a subconscious level, your brain thinks you're actually about to be murdered. When you're sitting and watching a screen, the motor regions of your brain turn off as your body relaxes. But on a conscious level, your brain is aware that this movie isn't real life. So it's bypassing the conscious parts of the brain to tap directly into the fight or flight response. Mm-hmm. It begins in the amygdala, which responds immediately to anything that looks like a threat, regardless of how it actually is. The amygdala sounds the alarm to your body, first activating the hypothalamus, which tells your adrenal glands to inject you with a big boost of adrenaline, Carl.
Like a drug addict. This
causes the heart to pump faster, like a drug, right? This causes, now, this article from Inverse.com, they are not saying that it's like, that these are drug addicts that are hooked on these horror, but they're using drug addict language, that it's injecting them, involuntarily injecting them with a drug, adrenaline. Now, this causes the heart to pump faster and faster, delivering more oxygen to the muscles in case you need to fight something or run away. The Exorcist may not be real, but your brain isn't going to take any chances. The most effective element of a horror movie. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to stop and say, read that sentence again. You went through it so quickly, and you're reading right out of this inverse.com. The Exorcist, say that again slowly.
The Exorcist may not be real, but your brain isn't going to take any chances.
Yeah, so you're watching the movie The Exorcist. You know that it's not real. This is just a movie, just a movie, just a movie. But your brain is responding as though, no, this is real. This is real. We got to do something. We got to get out of here.
Right, because it's bypassing the conscious parts of the brain, going directly to the unconscious. It's involuntary, Carl.
Right.
That's what we're saying. It's involuntary. All of this is involuntary. The most effective element of a horror movie, though, isn't even the on-screen monsters, but rather the background music, the screechy, discordant, nonlinear noises that build and crescendo sound enough like a baby's scream that they activate the same genetically hardwired response pathway that a wailing child does. Now, check this out. Brandon may have to open another wing at the Redeem Ministries center there in Alabama to get these people off of this stuff.
Yeah, it's an addiction center.
Out.
Yeah.
Right, because now this is from Inverse.com. These are scientists writing this stuff. They say one reason for this is linked to addiction pathways, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
The adrenaline released from a fear response can cause a viewer to seek out that sensation again and again. Now, doesn't that sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Our love of all things horror may also stem from the arousal transfer theory, suggesting that negative emotions created by scary situations can intensify the positive feelings we experience when the characters make it out alive. And that, people who are addicted to television also have this issue. I wrote about this in my book, Fast Track to Freedom. That people will sit in front of a television and watch Dukes of Hazzard for hours, binge watch Dukes of Hazzard reruns for hours and hours because, somebody's destroying at the time, a $20,000 Cadillac, but it's not happening to me, right?
Right.
And that's the arousal transfer theory. The negative emotions of seeing this can intensify the positive feelings we experience when the characters make it out alive. So there you have it, guys. That just like the porn freaks and the strip club junkies, you're just another drug addict looking for a fix.
Right. And, listen, this is so fascinating. I mean, my mind's going a million different places that all come back to the point of everything you're saying. But you have inspired me to think deeper upon this. And I'm sitting here thinking, horror movies. Okay, think of the horror movies of today, how realistic, with all the technology we have now, how real, the decapitations, the gore, the blood, the murder, the mayhem, the rape, the pillage, the torture, just on and on. Any kind of monster you can invent in your mind, we can bring it to life on the screen and put it in your living room with you. And so people are addicted to this stuff for all of the things you said, but I was just thinking, Mike, I was going back to my childhood. Now, I'm an old man now, but I go all the way back, and I think about back in the days of black and white TV, when you had 2 or 3 channels, if you could get your antenna to face, the sky waves correctly. And I could remember that one of the things that we wanted to do as children was to stay up late on Friday nights and to watch the scary movies, we called them. And it was just stupid stuff.
Right.
Now we look at stupid stuff. It was like Frankenstein. And, man, that was so corny. You look at it now, it's pure corn. Sure. But still, in its infancy stages, our brains had never seen anything like that before as children. So it had the very same effect on us. But just like porn, just like dope, the human race got addicted, and it needed a little harder drug and a little harder drug and a little harder drug. So the technology has been fed, I believe, by the demonic realm. And I'm not saying that all television and all movies are demonic, but I'm saying I can see it now. I can see over the decades how it's come to where it is now. And now it's gone from Wizard of Oz and Frankenstein, which was stupid, and Dracula, Count Dracula, in the old black and white stuff, that class B movies, it's gone from that to big screen, surround sound, blood and gore flowing. Anything that you can imagine is just right there pumping into your brains in just these few decades. I can see what Satan is up to. He's opening up those channels in our brains, in our minds, and he's opening up pathways of infestation. What do you think? Am I right? I'm just thinking about this stuff.
Yeah, no, we're not pointing our finger at people and saying, how dare you watch this. We're simply saying that you are a victim of drug peddlers.
Yeah.
For the longest time, these people have known that if they can bypass the conscious levels of the brain, with ones that you control, bypass that and get into the subconscious and tweak and control and get those drugs flowing from your glands into your brain, they can get you hooked on this stuff. The porn producers are the exact same way. They know the results that this has on men. The advertising agencies, they know if they pump the sex into their products, they can sell this stuff because men can't get enough of that drug addiction. But they don't know that because it's all involuntary. They don't know that they are victims of drug peddlers who, they don't have to go to the school grounds and do it. They can just go through your televisions and in through these strip clubs and porn sites and get you hooked, get you putting your credit cards into the website URLs and getting your money because they know that they've bypassed your control centers of your brain. Now they've got you hooked.
Yeah, and the truth is, the so-called drugs, and I'm making air quotes, the drugs, they're already in your system. And then what's happening is these involuntary responses are opening the floodgates. The drugs that your body produces, I'm calling them drugs, they're hormones, etc., but the drugs that your body produces flood into your system and give you that high, if you will, or that addiction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Unbelievable.
That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Well, tell people again where they can find that article. It's called Why Horror Movies Are Like Porn. Don't Be a Dope. That's pretty good. Tell them where they can find it.
Yeah. Just go to ppsimmons.com. It's right there. I posted this to Facebook, and people are saying, you know what? I always hated horror movies growing up. Now I know why.
Yeah.
Now I know why.
Now I know why. Hey, listen, I hate the relentless return of the clock. Now I know why. We got to take a break, man.
For thousands of years, mankind has debated how creation began. Ancient texts tell us the story. But today, the real message behind the pivotal account of the Garden of Eden has been obfuscated and lost. That is, until now. World-renowned author Carl Gallups digs up the hidden truths from the book of Genesis to finally give back the knowledge that was lost to the world. Find out what really happened in the Garden of Eden, what Jesus taught about Eden on the cross, and how the conflict between Jesus and the gods of antiquity is about to erupt on planet Earth, fulfilling biblical prophecy. In the new book, Gods of Ground Zero, this explains everything.